Welcome to Keys to Conflict. Yo everyone, this is our last video. We thank you for going along on this journey with us as we explore ways to effectively manage conflict in our relationships.
If you only have time to watch one video, this is a video you're going to want to watch. In this video, we are going to cover many of the core concepts of conflict and how to deal with it effectively.
Now, when you go into conflict situations, how we think about conflict really affects how the interaction takes place. For example, if I have a negative view of conflict, there's a chance that I'm going to go in with dysfunctional conflict styles. Go ahead and check out the first video about conflict styles if you want to learn more about that. If you want the best outcomes in your conflict situations, switch how you think about conflict. Have a positive view of conflict. Conflict is inevitable. It happens everywhere all the time. So embrace that it's going to happen. And as we discussed in an earlier video, that avoiding conflict can just make it worse. So you don't want to do that. Conflict isn't always enjoyable, but it's important that we're not afraid of it. Having a positive view of conflict can strengthen interpersonal relationships and help you grow as a person.
It's also important to always keep in mind that in any conflict situation, you have multiple options. Just because someone yelled at you doesn't mean you have to yell back.
Okay. We
Sound
got
good?
it. Yeah.
A good way to help yourself just get out of the moment and think of more options is to use the STLC model. In short, it stands for stop, think, listen, and then communicate assertively.
One effective way to communicate assertively is through using an I statement. And you can check out the earlier video describing what an I statement is in depth. But essentially, an I statement involves describing the action in non-judgmental language, describing how that action made you feel, explaining what you thought their perception was, describing the consequences their action had on you, and discussing what is going to happen going forward. And that could either be what I'm going to do now or a possible suggestion for what the other person should do in the future.
So oftentimes, conflict arises just because there's miscommunications and a lack of clarity between those that are having a conflict. So it's important to ask yourself what you want and also look into what the other wants. And then to further that discussion, look into why each party wants that. As you continue to learn about each other's what you want and why you want it, you'll understand more and there will be higher chances of a positive outcome.
The next thing to think about to help deal with sometimes difficult conflict is the idea of power. And sometimes when you're in a conflict situation, the other person will not move from their position and it's impossible to get them to move. Well, one thing you can try is just giving them a little bit of power. Sometimes the case is that they feel underpowered and they feel like the only source of power they have is refusing to move from their situation. So just try giving up a little bit of your power. And the result of this could be improving the situation and leading to more positive outcomes.
What's up, you turkey? A little turkey. And last but certainly not least, in Matthew 5:9, Jesus says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." It's extremely important to Jesus that we make peace. And living in conflict is the opposite of that. So in our conflict situations, this doesn't mean that we always have to agree or give in to the other position, but it does mean that we always have to love. That we always have to be Jesus to those that we're in conflict with. And one more principle is the principle of civility. And that is treating the other with respect, regardless of what you think of them. That in our conflict situations, we always see who we're dealing with as a brother or as a sister, regardless of what we think of them, that we respect them and love them.
To end this video series on conflict, we're going to give you 4 things you can go do right now in any conflict situation. The first one is to approach conflicts with STLC in mind. For more on STLC, check out the earlier video we did. Second is to use I statements as a form of assertive communication. And once again, we did an earlier video on this and you can check it out. Third, just be willing to give a little power away in conflict situations. You'll be amazed at the difference this can make. And last, but certainly not least, try to be Jesus in your conflict situations, always acting in love.
So that is it. That is the finale of our 10 video series on keys to conflict. Thank you for riding this journey with us as we explored how to and how not to deal with conflict.
From Colby Hansen,
And Michael Buss,
this has been Keys to Conflict.
peace, love, unity, and respect.